The majority. I wouldn't speculate on percentages, but I do think that it was an element of it. Hunter was an element of it. So when you say the Biden family, sorry to cut in here, I just want to get a clarification. The Biden family, you aren't talking about Dr. Jill or anybody else, are you? Mr. Archer, you're talking about Joe Biden. Is that fair to say? A witness, a key witness. Yeah, that's fair to say. Mr. Archer is a person that Joe Biden wrote a letter to. Joe Biden took pictures with Mr. Archer on the golf club, of course, and he's got evidence now, direct evidence that we just learned about, personal knowledge that says that's fair to say. Listen, I don't think it's about, as you know, Joe directly, but it's fair. That's fair to say. Obviously, that brought the most value to the brand, okay? How is that not direct evidence? You have a witness who's been in literal conversations with Joe Biden many times, testifying from his own personal knowledge that Joe Biden is the brand and they're selling around the world. Devin also said that he was aware of at least 20 times when Biden was speaking on speakerphone with Joe's Hunter's foreign business associates. 20 times of these phone calls. Question to Devin. How many times would you say that Hunter Biden put his father on the speakerphone? Devin, who's a family friend for a long time, referenced his father being on the phone. How many times? Approximately? Well, the difference between an investor and a normal course of a day is a hard thing to speculate on, but they spoke every day. You know, he acknowledged that they spoke every day. Devin's talking about Hunter and Joe. And he would, he would sometimes make it apparent that he spoke to his dad, and sometimes Hunter would put his dad on the speakerphone. But as far as quantifying the number, relative to the investors, I don't know. He says, well, okay, not necessarily investors, but with people who Hunter Biden was trying to either get business with or to make contacts with. How many times? So in my whole partnership, maybe 20 times. 20 phone calls! That's Devin Archer, who was there, personal knowledge, observing Joe Biden make a phone call on speakerphone to investors. It's literally direct evidence. Now, the Democrats would have you believe that this is all just insane, right? But this is a key witness that you would bring in, and he would testify. I was there, I saw it. And during those 20 times, did Hunter ever place his dad on the phone? Yes, there you go. What's he doing? Talking about the weather those 20 times with Hunter's business partners? And more direct evidence that the Democrats don't even want to think about. In February 2014, so now, this is backing up a bit, Vice President Joe Biden dined with oligarchs from Russia and from Kazakhstan. They funneled millions of dollars to Hunter Biden. They said, Mr. Archer, I want to ask you about this. Going back to this, it would be, spring 2014 Cafe Milano dinner. He says, the spring of 14, the first one. And since we talked about it before the break, Devin, if you could just recap, can you say who was there at that meeting in 2014? He says, yeah, sure. It was Kames Rakashev, Karim Mazimov, Yelena Baturina, a Russian oligarch who still has not been sanctioned because of Biden, possibly Yuri, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden. Oh, man, look at that one. Joe Biden was there at the meeting, and possibly Eric Sherwin. I'm sure they just talked about the weather the whole time. It's a bunch of business people, Russian oligarchs, and their business associate, Eric Sherwin. The duration of the time that Joe Biden stayed there, you said you couldn't recall. But do you recall whether he had dinner? Or did he actually eat a meal? Or did he just shake hands and leave? He had dinner. Yeah, I recall that he had dinner. It was a regular, not a long dinner, but it was a dinner. And so this dinner takes place in spring 2014. But then you get a call about this message from Yelena Baturina. So you have dinner. February 14th, then, the same woman, Yelena Baturina, who was there, wires $3.5 million to one of Hunter's companies, Rosemont Seneca Thornton. Isn't that incredible? Russian oligarch has dinner with the vice president. Suddenly, $3.5 million gets transferred over to the other associates. And this is Devin Archer, again, making this conversation. This is direct evidence. He says, I was at the dinner. I observed Joe Biden being there, and that was a business meeting. And he can't articulate what they talked about, but anybody can make the inference that maybe that is circumstantial evidence. Okay, now we make the inference. One can come to a logical conclusion that a meeting happens and the money gets paid. So now we've got, in this one example, direct evidence in the form of testimony from Devin Archer, along with circumstantial evidence in the form of payments that ended up $3.5 million to Rosemont Seneca after the dinner meeting, right? It's clear. Like, this is just criminal law basics 101. Every one of those Democrats in that stupid clip that we just played is dead wrong about it. They know that, but they're lying to us all. Here's another example. April 2015, Vice President dined with Hunter Biden's foreign business associates, including Burisma executive. Biden had dinner with Hunter's business associate called Vladimir Pozarski. Burisma was then being investigated by the prosecutor called Victor Shokin. Hey, let's talk about the second dinner. Archer says the second dinner. All right, the spring 2015 Cafe Milano. Devin, who was there? He says that dinner, I think we went over it before, but it was Vadim, Hunter, Joe, myself, Kareem. Joe and Hunter were there. There was a Greek Orthodox priest, maybe someone from World Food Program. Joe at that dinner? What did Joe do at that dinner? Did he have dinner? How long was he there? Devin says, oh yeah, he had dinner. And there was, on that one, I believe the first one was like a birthday dinner. And then the second was, I think we were supposed to talk about the World Food Program or something like that. Okay, so Hunter is dragging Joe around, and he's introducing him to people who are a part of Hunter's business deals. Again, more direct evidence. This is not made-up evidence. This is not third-hand evidence. This is Devin Archer, who has personal knowledge of what he witnessed, communicating it. Then, Vice President had coffee with Hunter's Chinese business associate, Jonathan Lee of BHR, and he wrote a letter of recommendation for the daughter. Question to Devin. Did you ever witness Hunter asking Joe to do something for BHR or to help out Jonathan Lee, who was Hunter's business associate? Devin says, yeah, a college recommendation. She didn't get in. Yeah, probably the academics were like, well, a recommendation from Joe Biden? The plagiarist? No thanks. Sorry. For who? I think it was for his daughter in Georgetown. Didn't work. So they tried to squeeze her into Georgetown. So Hunter has a business associate. He uses Daddy to get a college recommendation for her. Sure, Daddy never met her, but he's just trying to get some grease from the vice president for his affairs. Another example, 2015, Vice President Biden hosted Hunter and Devin and other business associates at the official residence of the VP, brought it into the White House, Vice President's office. The topic of the discussion was filling the top seat in the United Nations. The Kazakhstani government official who wanted the UN position attended both dinners with then Vice President Biden. So now they're saying he's getting people appointed and bringing them to dinners. They said, and then by spring of 2015, you attended breakfast at the Naval Observatory. No. Do you remember that? No. The UN secretary was not present. Who was present? Well, there was a gentleman named Mark Holtzman, myself, Hunter, and the vice president was there. What was the discussion about who was going to be the next UN Secretary General? Why were you involved in that? Why were you involved? Because Mark Holtzman was lobbying for Kareem Mazimov, but it was obviously didn't happen, right? So Hunter is getting paid to introduce people to get leverage. The host should have got killed. Should have got himself killed. Once again, this is a witness called Devin Archer who is there observing. Yep. You're gonna get stuck. You're gonna be stuck in this cloud, and it's gonna do this until it cancels out. And then you can fill in the gap with circumstantial evidence and follow the money. We also know that there was a pseudonym used by Robert L. Peters. This one was when Vice President Biden was informed by his staff about a Ukraine call. Who was copied on that official email? Hunter Biden was. And Hunter was sitting on the board of the Ukrainian company Burisma. Now, these things I think are probably the most damning because it's just literally directly to PCI.gov. This is May 26, 2016. Joe Biden still vice president. This is an email from John S. Flynn from the Executive Office of the Vice President at ovp.eop.gov, sending a letter, an email, to Robert L. Peters. Okay, this is the fake Joe Biden email. Robert.L.Peters at PCI.gov, and we know that this is just a government domain. So y'all made it to the elevator? We're going in there and creating fake aliases for Joe Biden. So Joe Biden's team sends him an email saying, hey boss, did y'all make it to the elevator? A 9 a.m. phone call with Poroshenko. That's Ukraine. Then we're off to Rhode Island infrastructure event, then to Wilmington. Did y'all make it to the elevator? Tonight with your press clips in the morning. Respectfully signed off on John. Guess who's copied on this email? Hunter Biden at Rosemont Seneca. So the White House Vice President's office is sending fake pseudonym emails to Joe, and then Hunter gets copied on it, and it's literally involving Ukraine, which is where Hunter Biden sits on the board. And this is direct evidence of involvement about discussions involving Ukraine. So this is more evidence that you would bring in to supplement your other claims. Now, if this was Big Fanny Willis doing any of this, right, each one of these would be an overt act, and there would be a RICO case immediately. But of course, that's not happening right now. And so the Oversight Committee has assembled 20 different examples here, and there's just... Next time, make sure that the one that's hosting it, when they get in the hotel, kill yourself. You gotta kill yourself in the hotel. Because if not, they ain't gonna let you go through the tunnel. I don't know why they shit tripping like that. The Democrats can't figure it out. Wherever that host is, they gotta live there and kill themselves. He said to China, and because if not, you're gonna get caught in the tunnel. That's what I got caught in the bullshit. Saying, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. That was in 2017, 7/30/2017. And so a lot more evidence about the involvement. Here's another one. I'm tired of this, Kevin. I can make $5 million salary at any law firm in America. If you think this is about money, it's not. The Bidens are the best I know at doing exactly what the chairman wants from this partnership. Let's not quibble over peanuts. And this is